Belfast-Dublin economic corridor has been developed through a very long relationship over many, many years. It's a natural market for businesses both ways. But with everything going on at the minute and the global issues that we're all having to deal with, I'm curious to find out if the relationship is taking anything of a battering. And I'm joined by someone who is very well placed to give us a point of view. Mary Rose Burke is the Chief Executive of Dublin Chamber of Commerce, which is the largest B2B networking organisation in Dublin. So if I can start by asking you, what is the economic picture like for your members in Dublin at the moment?
So certainly business sentiment has moderated somewhat as the year has gone on in each of our quarterly surveys. But we still feel that while there are obviously a lot of headwinds, the economy is well diversified and our businesses have built in quite a lot of resilience over the challenges over the last 3, 5 and even 10 years. So I think there's probably a sense of resilience, a sense of getting ready for the challenges, but also given very much an export market, a very much a cautiousness depending on what happens in the global economy.
Are you feeling any of the fallout from the potential rumours, I suppose, of decrease in employment with some of the social media giants, the likes of Facebook? Do you think that will have an impact on the city or not?
From what I hear from people involved in the recruitment industry is that for every tech job that is laid off, there is 8 new jobs available.
With all of that choice, where does the Dublin Belfast corridor sit with all of that? I mean, there's a recent report there in the Irish Independent looking at trade across Ireland, saying that it's growing. It currently sits at something like 65%. Are we still an important market?
I think certainly since 2016 we've seen a growth in trade between Ireland and Northern Ireland. So I think certainly as people try to deal with the challenges primarily arising from Brexit, there are new trade relationships being developed. So I'd be optimistic that we will see more and more engagement in the future.
And do you see that as mainly in a sales capacity, or are there other sorts of relationships developing, like partnership approaches, or can you see any increase in that being set up?
There's some in the sales trade each way, but both markets are small markets for exporting economies. So I think the opportunity primarily is in the partnership.
Have you seen that the appetite for working between Dublin and Belfast companies increase in order to access the GB market for Dublin companies?
Certainly, I would think with the significant increase in trade between Ireland and Northern Ireland, that some of that would be explained by access to the GB market. So, the success of the Irish business model certainly has been on being an open and trading global exporting business, and I think that's where the opportunity continues to be, both for businesses in Northern Ireland and here in Dublin.
There's so many things that unite us in terms of economic approach, I think, many more than actually divide us, I think.
Absolutely, and I think if you look at, we'll say for example, Belfast and Dublin, both cities score very high on what's called business friendliness in terms of ease of setting up and doing business. So I think there's definitely good pro-business environments in both opportunities in both cities. So I think we should never rest on our laurels at the current success. I think we need to be world leading in terms of creating indigenous businesses north and in Ireland so that we can have the blockbuster companies of the future located on this island.
Well, Mary Rose, it's been an absolute pleasure listening in to your thoughts today, and I think it's a very important time for all of us, not just locally on the island of Ireland, but also on the global stage as well. And there's a lot of work to be done, as you rightly point out. But it's been a pleasure talking to you. And
not at all, Michelle. Thank you.
You can contact me by email michelle.lestis@belfast89.com. You're listening to In Biz at Belfast 89 FM, the feature that's all about business and for business in and around the city.